What's up guys, Shane Starnes with Droid Modder X. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Landvo L200S. This was sent to me by GeekBuying, so I'm going to do a quick review. Now, I have to say that this is a cheaper phone. It's kind of an entry-level Android phone. The device will set you back about $160. The phone includes an MTK 6582 quad-core CPU, which is clocked at 1.3 gigahertz. So it is kind of a more low-end CPU that's included with the phone. Now, the phone itself is pretty snappy, pretty responsive, but while the software runs pretty smoothly on this device, that is not really the main selling point of this device. The main selling point of this device is the build quality. And when we talk about build quality here, we have kind of this metal band that runs around the edge of the phone. The screen is raised. It has this kind of nice glass feel to the screen itself. The screen is a 5-inch IPS capacitive screen, which does not have a high pixel density at all at 960 by 540. I've seen much better looking displays. In fact, if you look really closely at this display, you can see the individual pixels, and you're not going to get a really clear and crisp image on this display. But really, it is a solid feeling device. It kind of has the same design as like the LG G3. You guys can kind of see the same rounded edges here and the same sort of thickness. Now, obviously, the LG G3 has a much better build quality, feels a lot better in the hands. This kind of does have that cheap plastic back that we see on a lot of the Chinese-made entry-level devices. I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about here. It's more solid than what I saw on like the Cubot Zorro. So it has a plastic back, but it has a more solid feel, more rigid feel to the back itself. And then you guys can see the power button and volume button there, which is kind of cheaply done, but it is a cheap device. It does come with a pretty substantial 2,000 milliamp hour battery, which is good for all-day battery life. You don't really see that in the entry-level Android devices very often. You normally see a much smaller battery, which runs out a whole lot quicker than the battery on this phone runs out. In fact, the battery seems to last a pretty good while on this device itself. It does have a 2 megapixel shooter on the front and a 9 megapixel shooter on the back. It does support 3G, GPS, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. Now, this is a global phone, but you'll want to make sure that you check with your carrier to make sure that it supports the same frequencies as your carrier before you buy it. The last thing you want to do is buy this phone, put your SIM card in, and find out that it does not work on your carrier. If we go into settings and about phone, you go to Android version 4. You'll see that we're running KitKat Android version 4.4.2. I wouldn't expect a whole lot of updates out of this. Pretty much just the version it comes with is pretty much what you're going to get. Now, it's not really heavily themed here. We do have a custom background, but mostly this is stock Android. So you're not going to have a lot of bloatware, which is a plus. And then the fact that it's unlocked and you can take it from carrier to carrier. You're paying $162 versus, $500 or $600 out of pocket for a device like an LG G3 or Galaxy S5. Of course, you do get what you pay for here. Don't get me wrong, this is a cheaper entry-level device. But if you are on a month-to-month, you're not really on a contract, this might be a device worth looking into. So some more specs here. It comes with 1 gigabyte of RAM, 8 gigabytes of internal memory. It does have an external SD card slot, which is a plus because you can expand it up to 64 gigabytes. So if you consume a lot of media, having that external SD card slot will be a big plus. Now, I did mention that this is a capacitive touchscreen. You have capacitive buttons here at the bottom, which is kind of old school. I know that the Galaxy series do still have capacitive buttons, but the way they do them is really fresh and doesn't seem as old school as what we see here. But, that's neither here or there. Some people actually prefer the capacitive buttons over the on-screen buttons since they don't take up extra real estate on the screen. Now, we'll take a few shots with the camera. You guys can see here that it does take pretty quick pictures here. And then if we go back and look at those pictures, they actually don't look the greatest. If it has a chance to focus, it looks okay. It is an 8 megapixel camera there on the back, what's referred to as a CMOS camera. So in case you're wondering, the camera on the back does have autofocus. There is an LED flash, which can be doubled as a flashlight. It does have touch to focus, autofocus, and of course it does record videos. It doesn't record in high quality. I didn't see that it recorded in 1080p or anything like that. The screen is not 1080p whatsoever, so you're going to have probably low quality video out of that camera. It does have proximity sensors, light sensors, gravity sensors included there in the phone itself. Okay, but all in all, this is a decent phone for the price you pay. Considering that it is unlocked, you don't have to be on contract to get it at that $165 price range. And really, the selling point here is the build quality. It feels really nice and sturdy in the hand. It looks nice as far as the design is concerned. It could be mistaken for an LG G3 by someone that doesn't really know the difference. It's definitely not a clone of an LG G3, but it does kind of have that same design appearance as an LG G3. Performance is pretty good on the phone. It jumps through screens pretty quickly. I didn't notice any lag or any bugginess in the software at all. So, like I said, all in all, for the price you pay, this is a decent looking phone. Obviously, you get what you pay for. It is a cheaper phone, so it is nowhere near comparable to a Galaxy S5 or a Note 4 or an LG G3 or an HTC One N8. I mean, this just doesn't stand up to those in any way, shape, or form. But considering that it is a cheaper entry-level device, it seems to be a pretty good device. Anyways, guys, that about wraps it up for this review. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel for more content like this in the future. Find more of me at droidmoderx.com. Follow me on Twitter at droidmoderx. Thanks, guys, for watching. Be blessed. I'll see you in the next one.